Pacing mares lined up for tonight's second race. It kicks off the 50-cent pick 5 at the large carryover field of 8. They're on gate. And they're off. Baker's Fantasy hustles out. Sweet Fancy Moses alongside, and Shaking My Moneymaker will press the early tempo dead at the pylons as they move into that opening turn. Cantus ahead of her is also looking for good early position as they continue on into that turn. Sweet Fancy Moses looking to reach up past Baker's Fantasy. Cantus ahead of her will now be forced to back off for third. Shaking My Moneymaker came away racing in fourth. I Like You 2 is next in line fifth. And for the Brandy Mayrie, yesterday's child out seventh, and best of the best, currently the worst, as they are through an opening quarter of 28 seconds even. It is the 6-5 favorite, Sweet Fancy Moses, who shows the way up top. Baker's Fantasy, the second choice in close pursuit from a second. Cantus ahead of her continues at the cones third in front of Shakin' My Moneymaker. The big long shot is fourth and 5 lengths off the lead. I Like You 2 remains on hold of fifth in front of Brandy Mayrie. Yesterday's child is still seventh in front of best of the best as they move past the half, 56-1. So a solid tempo here, 28-1 in that second quarter. Sweet Fancy Moses continues unpressured as the field moves on to the far turn. Baker's Fantasy has tracked throughout. Cantus ahead of her. Slid at the outside, but is making a little impression on the leader. I Like You 2 is underway at the outside in fourth, but still has 7 lengths to make up. Shaking My Moneymaker begins to flatten out. Brandy Mayrie is up on the outside in sixth, with yesterday's child following in seventh. Best of the best still has 10 to make up. Through three quarters, 125. Sweet Fancy Moses turns for home with a 2-length lead. Cantus ahead of her now begins to gain ground out in the center. Baker's Fantasy is up the inside for Chrysler, moving 3 wide up and up on the outside. That is I Like You 2, who's unwinding. Baker's Fantasy dead at the inside. Sweet Fancy Moses trying to dig back in. I Like You 2's down the center, but it's Baker's Fantasy who skims the cones here, and Baker's Fantasy will win it. Sweet Fancy Moses held the second spot for I Like You 2. Cantus ahead of her was fourth in 154-1.